Since we're only human and not always as informed as we should be, it's nice that we can add patterns to those we've already acquired. In fact, that's the goal of education. The more patterns you have, the broader your potential for understanding. We can also revise our pattern evaluations to match our ever-changing editorial voice. For example, your editorial voice may eventually challenge your evaluation of the wolf. Maybe Wolfie would eat grandma or little pigs like you when you're 4. But when you're an adult, your editorial voice might reevaluate the wolf as a noble, worthy survivor. Of course, evaluations are tricky. For good or ill, the brain actively fills in any blind spots in our patterns based on editorial prediction, and we are the authors and enforcers of those predictions. We tell our patterns what they mean ultimately. We can tell them to lie to us or take up with lazier standards and practices. For some of us, editorial predictions link out to our parents, or more general themes like self-pity, conceit, intellectual pretense, or religious affection and the meaning of life, whatever. Some people say there is no meaning, of course, that everything's random and the pattern's accidental. There is no intended order. But beware of anyone who advances a theory of disorder using an ordered argument. Be suspicious of anyone who dismisses human evaluation through what? The use of human evaluation? This is intellectual treason. If there is no meaning to the universe, then the point you just made is ultimately meaningless. For many of us, the mere existence of repetitive patterns means something. And St. Paul said it perfectly in Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes, His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. Most efforts to sidestep the prospect of God fail to take into account the patterns that track Him across our consciousness, or the way the God of light shows up in the near-death experience. To believe in unintended order, we have to displace the values that elevated us safely from childhood. Patterns like, I was put here for a purpose. Values like, there is such a thing as right and wrong. The trails of God wind through our lives. We are based on His reference set, ultimately, which explains why we can never get past the God question. In the last coherent moments of our lives, we're probably not obsessing on the mass extinction during the Cretaceous. Most of us are thinking about the local extinction of us. We're thinking about origins and destinies in the highest possible terms. We're thinking about God. We see Him in the blessed, holy patterns inside our hearts. He's there. His presence fills us with whispered proof of His existence. In moments of crisis, our native instinct is to utter a prayer to God, to call out for help. In moments of arrogance and self-confidence, we dismiss all communion with Him. As it turns out, being human comes with the freedom to be stupid. Even so, even when we deny the Heavenly Father, even when we play the wolf, we're still beloved of God. After all, we are the patterns of His making.